The first step to truly understanding your value is to recognize that your worth is not measured by how much you give away, but by what you bring to the table. So many people fall into the trap of thinking that the more available they are, the more valuable they become. They wear themselves thin trying to help everyone, trying to be everything for everyone. But here's the reality. When you give and give without investing in yourself or holding your ground, you begin to lose sight of what makes you truly irreplaceable. Think about it. Your time, your expertise, your energy, and your focus are all limited resources. If you're constantly giving them away to anyone and everyone who asks, what happens is you become depleted. You start to lose your edge. Your work doesn't have the same impact, and your personal energy starts to feel scattered. You begin to feel frustrated because despite giving so much, you're not getting back what you deserve. This happens because people begin to take your value for granted. When something is easily accessible, it loses its significance. The truth is, people appreciate what they have to work for. They value things that are rare, that require effort to obtain. This isn't just about material goods. This principle applies to your time, your knowledge, and your energy. When you give too much of yourself without boundaries, people don't respect you. They begin to expect more, and eventually you become a commodity. And the moment you become a commodity, your value drops. You see, your true worth isn't in your availability. It's in the unique, irreplaceable value you provide. That's why it's essential to understand that the real measure of your worth comes from the impact you make, not how much you're accessible. The more you recognize your value and protect it, the more the right people will begin to value you too. When you're able to prioritize where you put your time, who you give your energy to, and how you use your expertise, you create space for only the opportunities and relationships that will help you elevate your life. As long as you're caught up in being constantly available to everyone, you'll miss the chance to invest in what truly matters, growing your skill set, refining your craft, and making a bigger impact on the right people. You have to be intentional with your time and energy to ensure that when you show up powerfully and effectively. The shift in mindset is what allows you to move from being busy to being valuable, from simply being available to truly being impactful. Mastering the art of selectivity isn't just about saying no to things you don't want to do. It's about saying yes to what truly aligns with your vision and purpose. Think about it. The people who are most successful are not the ones who try to do everything and be everywhere. They are the ones who are deeply intentional about where they put their focus and energy. They understand that to be truly effective, they have to be choosy about where and with whom they invest their time. In the beginning of my journey, I made the mistake of thinking I had to take every meeting, attend every event, and respond to every request. I wanted to please everyone, be available to everyone, because I thought that's what would lead to success. But what I soon realized was that being everywhere and for everyone only made me less effective. My attention was divided, and I found myself exhausted without making significant progress. I was constantly reacting to the demands of others instead of proactively focusing on the things that would move me toward my goals. The lesson here is simple. You don't have unlimited energy, so you have to be strategic about where you direct it. By being selective about where you spend your time, you protect your energy and focus. Not every opportunity is a good opportunity, and not every person deserves your time. This isn't about being selfish, it's about being wise. You have to evaluate every opportunity, every request, and every relationship based on how much it aligns with your bigger vision, your long-term goals, and the impact you want to make. Imagine your time as a precious currency. You wouldn't throw your money away on anything, would you? You'd invest it in things that bring you a return. The same principle applies to your time. Every minute you spend is an investment in your future. So you need to ask yourself, is this relationship, this event, this opportunity contributing to my vision, or is it taking me off course? If the answer is no, then it's okay to say no. Saying no doesn't make you unkind, it makes you intentional. When you learn to be selective about your time, you start attracting the people, the opportunities, and the relationships that are in alignment with your goals. You stop wasting time on things that drain you and start investing it in things that will help you grow. This creates a powerful cycle. The more selective you are, the more productive you become. The right people will begin to recognize that your time is a high-value commodity, and they'll start treating it as such. Being selective also means protecting your peace. There will always be distractions, there will always be demands, but if you're not intentional about where you place your attention, you'll find yourself scattered, stressed, and overwhelmed. So the first step is to understand that not everything deserves your time and attention. When you embrace the power of selectivity, you stop being controlled by external pressures, and instead, you take control of your own narrative. You start showing up where it counts. It's in the places and with the people that matter most to your purpose and success. The more you practice this, the more you'll see that being selective isn't a limitation, it's an empowerment. It's what allows you to operate at your highest level and make the kind of impact that will leave a legacy. Investing in yourself is perhaps the most crucial decision you'll ever make in your journey to becoming truly valuable. When I say invest in yourself, I'm not just talking about acquiring more degrees, attending more conferences, or collecting more certifications. I'm talking about investing in your growth, your mindset, your skills, your habits, and your emotional intelligence, because you can only be as valuable as the person you're becoming. Early in my career, I used to think that success was about working harder and harder, giving everything I had to my business and my career. But what I soon discovered was that no matter how hard I worked, if I didn't invest in myself, my own development, my own mindset, my own skills, I was running in place. I wasn't growing, and because I wasn't growing, neither was my business. My impact wasn't expanding because I hadn't yet expanded myself. There's a huge difference between being busy and being effective. You can work long hours, hustle and grind until you're exhausted, but without investing in your growth, you'll plateau. When you stop growing, you stop moving forward. Growth is the foundation of your value, and when you invest in yourself, you create the capacity to give more, to do more, and to impact more. Think of it like this. If you're a farmer, the land you're farming is your mind, and the seeds you plant are the knowledge, skills, and experiences you cultivate. You can't expect a great harvest if you've been neglecting the soil. If you don't water the land, add fertilizer, or tend to the crops, you won't yield the results you desire. In the same way, you can't expect to be highly valuable to others if you haven't put in the work to grow yourself. Investing in yourself means constantly challenging yourself to learn new things, to break out of your comfort zone, to stretch your limits, and to raise your standards. It means choosing to surround yourself with people who inspire you to be better rather than those who pull you back into mediocrity. It means being willing to face uncomfortable truths about yourself, taking ownership of your weaknesses and working to improve them. It's about self-discipline, self-responsibility, and having the courage to become a better version of yourself every single day. The return on investment when you invest in yourself is immeasurable. The more you invest in your own growth, the more you have to offer the world. You can't give what you don't have. The more knowledge you gain, the more skills you develop, and the more you evolve emotionally and mentally, the more valuable you become to the people around you. And this isn't just about learning new things. It's also about refining your current abilities. It's about becoming excellent at what you do. Excellence is what sets you apart in a world that often settles for average. Excellence doesn't happen by accident. It happens because you've made the decision to commit to your craft and improve every day. Investing in yourself also means taking care of your body and your mind. It's about ensuring that you're healthy enough to handle the demands of success. You can't perform at your highest level if you're physically, mentally, or emotionally drained. This means investing in rest, recovery, and mental clarity. You need energy to be valuable, and energy comes from making sure you're at your best. When you invest in yourself, you're not just giving yourself the tools to succeed, you're creating a foundation for a lifetime of value. The more you grow, the more you can give, and the more you give, the more you'll see the impact you can make on others. This isn't just about being valuable in the eyes of others. It's about being valuable to yourself first so that you can show up and give the world your best. I've seen this time and time again. The people who commit to lifelong learning and self-investment are the ones who rise to the top. They don't wait for external circumstances to change. They change themselves. They understand that to be truly valuable, they must become a continual work in progress, always growing, always improving, always evolving into the best version of themselves. So make the decision today, invest in yourself no matter where you are in your journey. The more you invest in your growth, the more valuable you will become and the more opportunities will open up for you. Because the world can only give you what you're ready to receive. And the only way to get ready is to continuously evolve. The power of scarcity is one of the most underrated tools in the world of business and personal development. We live in a world that constantly craves instant access, constant availability, and immediate gratification. People want things now and they want them on demand. But here's the thing, scarcity breeds value. The more you make yourself scarce, the more your time, energy, and expertise become precious. And when something is scarce, it becomes highly sought after. I remember when I first began to understand this concept. I had spent years trying to make myself as available as possible to everyone. I would answer every phone call, reply to every email, attend every meeting, and make myself accessible to anyone who wanted a piece of me. But over time, I noticed that my value was starting to diminish. I was spreading myself too thin, and my time became a commodity that anyone could access. What I didn't realize was that by being so available, I was actually making my time seem less important. I was putting myself in a position where people no longer had to earn my attention. They simply took it for granted. It wasn't until I decided to change my approach, to make myself more scarce, to stop answering every call, to stop saying yes to everything, that I began to see the true power of scarcity. When I started to be more selective about where I spent my time and how I engaged with others, my value skyrocketed. Suddenly, people respected my time more. They appreciated the moments I spent with them because they were no longer guaranteed access to me. They knew that when I showed up, it was because I had chosen to be there, not because I was simply available. Think about this for a moment. Why do people stand in line for hours for concert tickets or a new iPhone? Why do people pay a premium for something that is rare, that can't be easily found? Because scarcity makes it valuable. It's the same with your time and energy. When you make yourself available to everyone, you diminish your value. But when you create an aura of scarcity around yourself, when you become more selective with how you share your time, people begin to see your value in a whole new light. This isn't about playing games or trying to manipulate others. This is about recognizing your worth and acting in a way that reflects that recognition. Scarcity doesn't mean you stop helping people or being generous with your knowledge and skills. It means you prioritize who you help, when you help them, and how you help them. You reserve your time for people and opportunities that align with your goals and your values. When you embrace scarcity, you create space for the right relationships, the right opportunities, and the right moments to come into your life. You stop being a jack of all trades who is constantly chasing after the next thing and start becoming a master of what truly matters. You give yourself the chance to focus deeply on the things that will have the greatest impact. And as a result, you begin to produce better work, build stronger relationships, and have a greater influence on those around you. The more you practice the power of scarcity, the more you'll see that it's not just a tool for business, it's a mindset. It's about respecting yourself and your time so much that you no longer tolerate distractions or demands that don't serve your purpose. You start showing up where it counts, for the people who matter and for the opportunities that truly align with your long-term vision. Scarcity also leads to higher demand. The more you show people that your time is limited, the more they will want to work with you, learn from you, and be around you. This is why successful people often seem so busy. They are not just busy with random things, they are selectively investing their time in what will bring the greatest returns both for them and the people they serve. So if you want to increase your value in the eyes of others, start by embracing scarcity. Be more intentional about where and with whom you spend your time. Don't give away your energy freely. Make it clear that your time is valuable, that your focus is precious, and that when you choose to engage, it's because you see the potential for something meaningful to come from it. When you do this, you'll find that the world begins to treat you with the same respect that you've begun to show yourself. To truly be valuable, you must understand the importance of not just being present, but being present with purpose. So often we get caught up in the rush of life, responding to external pressures and reacting to what's happening around us, rather than intentionally creating the life and impact we want to have. We try to please everyone, fulfill every obligation, and be everything to everyone, and in the process, we lose sight of what we are really here to do. But when you start showing up with purpose, you start showing up as a force. When I reflect on my own journey, I realized that the times when I was most impactful weren't the times when I was running around trying to meet every demand or do everything that was asked of me. No, the most powerful moments were the ones when I showed up intentionally, when I was clear on my mission and focused on delivering value in a way that only I could. It wasn't about being busy, it was about being intentional with my time, my energy, and my resources. Being present with purpose is about choosing where you focus your attention and how you contribute to the world. It's about having clarity on your vision and goals, and then aligning every action you take with those intentions. When you show up with purpose, you stop being swayed by distractions. You start to say no to the things that don't align with your vision, and yes to the opportunities that do. You stop operating out of obligation or fear of missing out, and start acting from a place of power, from a place where you are in control of your time and your impact. This approach has profound effects on your productivity and value. When you're purposeful, your actions become more deliberate, more focused. You know exactly why you're doing what you're doing, and that focus drives you to execute with greater efficiency and effectiveness. People notice this. They see that when you show up, you're not just filling space, you're making an impact. They feel your energy, your clarity, and your commitment to delivering value. And when people sense that you're operating with purpose, they will be more likely to respect your time and your value. Think about this for a second. Have you ever been in a conversation with someone who wasn't really present? Maybe they were distracted, checking their phone, or half listening to what you were saying. It's frustrating, isn't it? Now imagine how different that interaction would be if that person was fully engaged with you, listening intently, and giving their undivided attention. That person becomes much more valuable to you in that moment. The same principle applies to the way you show up in your life and work. When you show up with purpose, people sense that energy and they gravitate toward it. You're no longer just another face in the crowd. You're someone who is clear, focused, and ready to make a real difference. Being present with purpose is also about making sure your actions are aligned with your values and what you stand for. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day hustle, doing things just for the sake of doing them. But when you act with purpose, you make sure that every step you take is moving you closer to your ultimate goals. You're not just ticking boxes or following a checklist. You're choosing to create an impact that is meaningful to you and to others. This kind of presence requires discipline. It means saying no to distractions, saying no to activities that don't serve your long-term vision, and saying no to the constant demand for your time from people who don't understand the value of what you're building. It means being willing to stand firm in your boundaries and protect your focus. And when you can do that, you become a force that others can't ignore. You become someone whose time is in demand, not because you're constantly available, but because you show up intentionally with focus and clarity. When you start showing up with purpose, you will start seeing the world in a different light. The opportunities you once overlooked will now stand out to you, and the relationships that truly matter will become clearer. you'll find that your life begins to align more closely with the impact you want to make, and the people who need to see you will begin to recognize your value. Your presence becomes magnetic, and the work you do becomes not just a job, but a meaningful expression of who you are and what you stand for. The power of showing up with purpose isn't just about having a productive day, it's about creating a life of significance. When you operate from this place of intentionality, you not only elevate your own life, but you elevate the lives of those around you as well. You create an environment where your time, your energy, and your expertise are respected and sought after. And that is the foundation of becoming truly valuable. One of the most crucial aspects of becoming truly valuable is the ability to focus on what truly matters. We live in a world that is constantly pulling our attention in 1,000 different directions. The world wants your time, your energy, and your attention, and if you're not careful, it will take it from you without you even realizing it. That's why the ability to focus on what matters most is the key to becoming highly valuable. In my own life, I've experienced the chaos of trying to juggle multiple things at once, thinking I could be everything to everyone. I used to think that the more I spread myself out, the more opportunities I'd have and the more valuable I would become. But what I learned the hard way was that being spread thin doesn't lead to greatness. It leads to burnout and inefficiency. The more I tried to do, the less I actually accomplished. The truth is, you can't give your best to everything. You have limited time and energy, and the more you divide those resources, the less impact you can have. You can't afford to give your focus to things that don't align with your vision. If you want to be valuable, you have to be intentional about where you direct your energy. This doesn't mean you have to say no to everything, but it does mean you need to prioritize. You have to figure out what truly matters, what aligns with your goals, and what is going to move you closer to the person you're trying to become. I remember the turning point in my own journey when I realized that I was wasting so much time on things that weren't moving me forward. I was caught up in the idea of being busy, of looking productive, but I wasn't being effective. I wasn't making the kind of progress I wanted to make because I was trying to do too many things at once. That's when I started practicing the art of focus. I began saying no to the distractions and the tasks that weren't aligned with my bigger vision, and I began saying yes to the things that truly mattered. This shift changed everything for me. When you can focus, you illuminate the noise. You stop worrying about every little thing, every distraction, every request that doesn't fit within the scope of your mission. Focus allows you to put your energy into what will yield the highest returns. You become laser focused on the things that will give you the greatest leverage, the greatest opportunity for growth, and the greatest impact. Focus is the difference between working hard and working smart. Many people work hard, but they work on the wrong things. They expend a lot of energy, but it doesn't result in meaningful progress. But when you focus, your energy is maximized and you start to see exponential growth. You begin to make more progress in less time, and the results you produce become more powerful. But here's the key: focus requires discipline. It means resisting the temptation to chase every new idea or opportunity that comes your way. It means knowing when to say no, even when something might look like a good opportunity. It means understanding that saying no to certain things is actually saying yes to your future success. You must be able to eliminate distractions and commit to the things that are most aligned with your goals. This takes practice, but over time it becomes a habit. Another part of focus is aligning your environment with your goals. If you want to focus on achieving something significant, you have to create an environment that supports that focus. This means surrounding yourself with people who encourage and challenge you to grow. It means decluttering your space to minimize distractions, and it means creating systems and routines that allow you to keep your attention on what's important. The world will always try to pull you in different directions. But when you create an environment that supports your goals, you make it easier to stay focused. When you focus on what matters most, you begin to operate with purpose. You stop reacting to external forces and start proactively moving toward your goals. You become more productive, more effective, and more valuable to the world around you. People will see that you are someone who can concentrate, who can deliver, and who can get things done They'll start to respect your time and your work because they'll see that you don't waste energy on things that don't matter. They'll know that when you show up with intention, with power, and with focus. Focus allows you to cut through the noise, to stop being distracted by things that don't matter, and to create something extraordinary. The more you practice focus, the more your value increases because you start to produce high quality work and become someone who consistently delivers results. And when you become someone who can focus on what truly matters, you not only create value for yourself, but you also create value for others. And that's when you become truly indispensable.